A lot can happen in a year when you're the world's largest bookshop. Here's everything toxic that Amazon did in 2023. To kick off the year, Amazon workers joined the trend of striking, saying that Amazon treats its robots better than them. Probably because robots aren't whiny little bitches. And robots are harder to replace. This strike happened just weeks after Amazon said they were going to fire 11,000 people, but it ended up being nearly 17,000 people, basically leaving Jeff and his beloved robots. Then a former drone employee said he was fired for bringing up safety concerns. To be fair, who cares if a 55-gallon drum of lube lands on your head if you're getting free next day delivery? He also said that one of the field sites didn't have a toilet, which you think would just be a given by now. Amazon started to test a TikTok-like shopping experience, which is a dropshipper's wet dream. Basically, it'll be like TikTok, but only ads, which is exactly what we've all wanted from the start. To round off the month, Amazon discontinued their charity reward scheme, Amazon Smile, saying that it didn't have the impact they thought it would. So it didn't charity enough, so they cancelled it. Well, this says otherwise, as does this screenshot of how much money has been donated since it was launched. But don't worry, they announced recently they're going to replace it with a new scheme called Amazon Frown. At the start of February, hundreds of warehouse workers in Coventry protested the 50p pay rise and claimed they were being treated like robots, which seems a little unfair to the robots. At least they get some downtime every now and then. Then we discovered Amazon has a donkey meat problem, not a euphemism. An American customer was buying her dietary supplements and discovered she was eating ass. She was reading the back of the pill packet and discovered one of the ingredients was donkey meat. She said that she assumed that the world's largest online retailer had vetted the bottle's claims that it was made from 100% pure and natural herbs. Why would you assume that? The FDA don't even vet supplements. Why would CEO entrepreneur, born in 1964, Jeffrey Bezos? Although the product was legal in China where it was made, it's illegal in America, so it never should have been put on sale in the first place, as it breaks this law, which basically dictates which meats humans can and can't consume, a law your mum is very familiar with. Then Amazon told employees to be in the office at least 3 days a week, which employees said, how about no? Speaking of commuting, without a hint of irony, an Amazon delivery driver shared a video of the company's AI system and how it tracks all of her movements on TikTok. She explained the internal camera will give her violations if she's drinking while driving, which begs the question, why does Amazon hate their employees being hydrated? Then it was misreported that Amazon had its first unprofitable year since 2014, when in reality profits were up 10%, but they've spunked all that money into Rivian to electrify their fleet. Now it makes sense why they don't want liquids in their vans. And finally, in adjacent news, the FCC approved Amazon's satellite broadband plan over SpaceX's objections. A SpaceX representative said that if anyone is going to block out the sun with satellites, it should be us. In March, Amazon was sued for not telling New York customers about the facial recognition software used in its stores. Who else had that on their 2023 bingo card? The lawsuit was filed by the New York Civil Liberties Union on behalf of a customer who visited the store in Manhattan, who claims they were not informed that the store was using facial recognition technology to track and analyze their movements. Now, I'm not on Amazon's side here, but how did the customer think that the store was able to be employeeless, and how was it able to follow them around the store? Given the obvious nature of these shops, I can only assume the customer is playing dumb to fuck with Bezos, which I can only respect. So now they're seeking damages and a court order to prevent Amazon from using facial recognition technology in stores without informing customers. It almost had me. If it had said that you couldn't use this technology, I would have been on board. But saying they can't do it without informing customers just means they've got to put up a sign. Then Amazon's HR rejected employees' requests to work remotely. This is starting to feel like when the music industry tried to fight piracy. This resulted in the staff bitching on Slack about the return to office policy, which, to be fair, Amazon did listen to and take note of. Although to be fairer, by listen to, I mean they got bored of the complaints and fired another 9,000 employees. In very quick news, Panera Bread rolled out the dough by investing and testing Amazon's palm screening technology in St. Louis. When asked, they said that they needed more security. In April, Amazon's CEO, Andy Jassy, sent a memo outlining the company's priorities, and it turns out their main focus is not getting you replaced by a robot yet. Amazon is doubling down on AI and machine learning, so brace yourself for an Echo Dot that becomes sentient and starts roasting your shit music tastes. In healthcare, Amazon is going to continue to try and improve patient outcomes, as well as lowering costs through initiatives like Amazon Care, which I've done a full video on because I'm fun at parties. In no shit Sherlock news, Amazon was responsible for more than half of all serious US warehouse injuries last year, according to a report by the Strategic Organizing Center, or SOC as I prefer to call them. But hey, at least they pledged $300 million to solve the problem 2 years ago. The report found that of the 38,609 injuries in 2022, about 95% of them were deemed serious. But don't worry, Amazon is disputing the report's finding, claiming that serious injury rate isn't an official metric they recognise, which is an amazing admission. It hasn't helped that they've gamified working in warehouses, which has led to people getting injured to hit insane deadlines. But fun, I'm sure unrelated fact, Amazon spent $14 million on anti-union consultants in 2022. Sorry, did I say fun? I meant dystopian. The actual fun fact is that Amazon employs 1,608,000 people, which means they spent $8.71 per member of staff to stop them from unionising, which if anything, is a bargain. It's about 45 minutes worth of pay. This spend was up by 4.3 million in 2021. Well, to be fair, the cost of everything has gone up, so they might not be spending more. It could just be inflation. Sure, me in a hat, you've chosen to side with Amazon. Good for you. And finally, we discovered that Amazon gave small business and black-owned business badges to companies that were neither. You had one job. In their defense, unlike Elon, they didn't charge for these, so that's something. In May, Amazon offered US customers $10 to pick up their purchases to lower their delivery costs. You know, like a shop. Next, in We Want Your Money but Don't Want to Contribute to the Economy news, Amazon and other big tech companies started to hire low-paid foreign workers to replace their American workers. Hands up if you saw this coming. To round off the month, Amazon's TikTok-inspired shopping feed went live, and the crowd went mild. June was a busy month for the FTC. They started by fining Amazon over their deceptive and slippery Prime membership sign-up and cancellation process known as dark patterns. £10 says that the settlement will be less than £10. And in the form of an Amazon gift voucher. Then Amazon paid $25 million to settle with the FTC over child privacy law violations. Although Amazon made about $1 million in the time it took me to read you that headline, so forgive me if I don't cry them a river. Then the FTC reared their lovely head once more, because they believed Amazon was punishing sellers who didn't pay to use their logistics services, like Amazon delivery drivers. Bezos responded to this by saying that Amazon delivery drivers are on strike, and that they don't work for Amazon, which both doesn't answer the question or make any sense. Also, if they don't work for you, surely you don't care if they're on strike. Let me know what you mean by this, Jeff. The comments box is below. And finally, the FTC accused Ring, which Amazon owns, of allowing unauthorized access to private videos and having lax security practices, which Amazon denies, but this says differently, as does this article. In July, Amazon told its drivers not to worry about the in-van surveillance cameras, as footage was being leaked online. Pro tip, if a billion-dollar company tells you not to worry about something, worry about that thing. But it is good news if your fetish is watching someone pee in a bottle while driving. Amazon then became the first American company to challenge the European Union's Digital Services Act, saying that they shouldn't have to police their own platforms for hate speech or misinformation. Amazon has platforms? Yeah, Amazon owns Zappos, the shoe store, so they've got loads of platforms, Cuban heels, and even some casual boots for hikers. Parents then asked Amazon to delete the voice recordings of their children, which Amazon said they did, but they didn't. So now they're being fined $25 million, to which Bezos said, that seems fair. Have you got change for $1 billion? In August, Amazon listed some generative AI jobs, paying up to $900,000 to attract the top-tier talent. Ironically, you'll be training yourself out of the job. Then Amazon's virtual clinic went national, and the Washington Post covered it with the headline, "Great news, your health data is now for sale." Amazon's clinic doesn't actually accept health insurance yet, which is easily the most American thing I've read today. And finally, Amazon claimed it didn't employ its drivers, but did spend money to stop them from unionizing. You must really hate unions if you're willing to pay to stop people you don't employ from joining one. For the record, Amazon drivers rock those sleek Amazon outfits, play by Amazon's rules, drive Amazon vans, deliver Amazon packages, use Amazon software, and report to Amazon employees at Amazon warehouses. But apparently, because their payslip has the name of a shell company on it, Amazon doesn't employ them. That level of mental gymnastics is right up there with a devout Christian claiming that anal means she hasn't upset God before her wedding night. I mean, sure, within your own logic, it makes sense, but as soon as you try and explain that to anybody else, you just sound full of shit. In September, Prime Video said they'd soon be including adverts, or they'd be charging you $3 to avoid them. It's a bold move to challenge me for a service that I'm already paying for. Let's see how it pays out for them. Amazon Fire then demanded a 30% share of ad revenue from TV networks' apps. This is some Apple level shit, and frankly, I'm here for it. And it turns out running AI is expensive, so Amazon might want to charge you to use Alexa in the future, says an outgoing executive. To be fair, when you are quitting a job, you can pretty much say whatever you'd like, but I guess now I'll have to turn the lights off before I get into bed like a fucking caveman. Then the FTC filed potentially the biggest fine Amazon has ever faced. £9.60. 17 states have joined forces with the FTC and accused Amazon of being a monopoly and using their power for evil. Given what they're accusing Bezos' little bookshop of doing, the biggest shock to me is that only 17 states are involved. This led to Amazon's stock price falling 3%. Has anyone seen my tiny violin? In October, we learned that Amazon's Alexa has been claiming the 2020 election was stolen. Just don't ask her where she was January 6th. Also, I love that this was reported in the Washington Post. Amazon then launched their Starlink competitor, Project Kuiper? Because that's all we need. Bezos in charge of our internet. Then Firefox announced future versions of their web browser will have a built-in fake review detector, which will give Amazon a headache. There's no joke here, I just thought you'd like to know. In no shit Sherlock news, Amazon's third-party sellers are being put out of business by, well, Amazon. If you'd like to learn how Amazon uses third-party sales data to decide what product to make next, sell it at a loss to undercut the entire market until everyone else goes out of business, and then jack up the price because nobody else can compete, you're going to love this video here. To cap off the month, Amazon tested humanoid warehouse robots in a push to free up staff. And by free up staff, they mean make them unemployed. In November, we learned Amazon is blocking the promotions of employees who don't comply with their return to work policy. So if you don't care about promotions, this is your opportunity to say, fuck it, I'm working from home. Amazon then began to allow car dealers to sell vehicles on its site, starting with Hyundai, with free returns if you're not happy and next day delivery. As part of the deal, Hyundai will include Amazon Alexa voice assistant in all their cars starting in 2025, which means Hyundai is the latest company to make data part of their long-term business plan. Hooray! Personally, I can't wait to order 2 cars in different colours and send one back. And finally, Amazon executives have destroyed years of evidence before the FTC's antitrust suit began. While fines are just the cost of doing business, shit like this is going to keep happening. I mean, it's not suspicious at all. This reminds me of that episode of Super Nanny where the parent is crying because the kid is being a complete arsehole, and they ask the nanny, well, what can I do? Like the situation was out of your control, and you can't put measures in place to stop the child from being a dick. In this instance, the child is Amazon. In December, Senior Vice President of Prime Video and Amazon Studios, Mike Hopkins, kicked off the month by saying it's time for workers to disagree but comply with the company's work from their offices order. He then went on to say that he doesn't have the data to back it up, but he knows working from the office is better. A tech company with no data. Or does the data say what you don't want it to say? Well, I guess we'll never know. To round off the year, Amazon was found guilty of selling bathroom spy cameras because people were using them exactly how they were advertised. At first, Amazon claimed, well, we can't be held responsible for how people use the products they buy on our platform, but the judge said that's a top-tier bullshit excuse because the platform had approved the product's description, which had claims like, will go completely unnoticed, and perfect for recording private moments in a bathroom. Amazon can't claim ignorance here. This is a textbook definition of someone acting confused when a leopard ate their face after they voted for the Leopards Eating People's Faces party after approving the campaign material where they said they were going to do that. Also, what possible legitimate reason could you have for hiding a spy camera in your bathroom? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, like, subscribe, share. My Patreon's also linked below. Here's everything toxic that Facebook and Google did in 2023. Godspeed. I'll see you all next year.